WTS.
As well, they have suspended emergency operations where they're not sending out first responders right now because it's simply not safe for them to be responding to those routine calls. So if you do call 911 right now, they say they will not be able to send anyone out to you. However, they still want you to call so that they know what's going on, so that they can get out there and respond to you as quickly as possible. In Brooksville, Hannah Deneen, 10 Tampa Bay.
Hannah, thank you very much. I can't help but notice the electric vehicles that are behind her, and glad to see that people had, take them with you when they evacuated. Colleen Campbell is here with us now. Colleen, we got your mic fixed, and you were talking about the wind speeds.
Yes. So the wind speeds are very important, as well as the heavy rain. That's our main concern right now. We have that flash flood emergency for some of our counties that we're going to get to. But here's Hurricane Milton. Yes, hurricane made landfall around 8:30 in Siesta Key. So continues to move inland, going to impact coast from coast. We've been saying that from the beginning. Let's take a zoom in here so you can see the reflectivity there. That heavy rain moving through portions of 275.
But we're having issues with your microphone again. Apologies. Let's give you a live look right now at Ulmerton Road at Seminole Boulevard, if that's where we can go right now. And you could really just kind of underscore again the wind that Colleen is talking about, 82 in Tampa, 90, I think, at Albert Whitted.
Right. Yeah, and it varies from place to place, of course, but strong wind gusts, some very strong sustained winds out there as well. And when we go to Tampa, take a look at some of the high winds down there. We're also seeing, again, it's sort of, at times, it's relatively calm.
Look at it.
And at times...
All right, you've been watching Hurricane Milton coverage from our Tampa Bay affiliate, WTSP. We're going to take a quick break right now. Stay with us. We'll be right back. You're streaming CBS News 24/7. earlier tonight. The National Weather Service is warning people, particularly in the Tampa Bay area, to seek higher ground amid now flash flooding that we're seeing there. Forecasters are warning of potentially life-threatening conditions, with storm surge possibly reaching up to 50 here tonight. The National Weather Service, the Tampa Bay area has not been in the direct path of a hurricane in the past 100 years. Already, more than 1.2 million have lost power across Florida. We want to take you back now to storm coverage from our Tampa Bay affiliate, WTSP.
Oh, Bobby's scaring me. All
She's
right.
got to do the microphone trick at this time.
Yeah, so my mic does not want to behave. So we were just talking about Fort Myers and the surge, and I took this a little bit earlier tonight, so I'm assuming that the levels are much higher, but they were already in that moderate flood stage, almost 3.5 feet above normal levels. But again, I took this about an hour ago, so yeah, much higher there. We just saw the images ourselves. As far as the winds, you notice the winds up here, 110 miles per hour. So yeah, we were just talking about that 102 mile per hour gust, which I believe Bobby said that was in Sarasota, correct?
Yep.
So yeah, we still have this, although this storm did come on shore and make landfall, it's still moving from coast to coast. And that's what I was starting to say before my microphone went out. This will be a coast to coast impact storm. And we've been saying that since the beginning. So taking a zoom in here, we see Hillsborough County really getting massive amounts of rain and these tropical downpours that are not helping the situation, and that's why we have that flash flood emergency for portions of the area, which I am going to get to. I've been clicking around to give you an idea of how much rain is coming down in just an hour time, and I think some of these amounts are actually higher than what's being displayed here. Actually, there it goes. It just jumped up to almost 2 inches of precip in an hour being dumped, and I think some amounts are even higher than that. If you just look outside, well, we don't want you to look outside, but just take our word for it. Rainfall estimates, you can see we had anywhere from 10 to 14 inches highlighted in that yellow color there. And the reason why they did issue that flash flood emergency is because over by Albert Whitted, they had 16 inches of rainfall, I believe, that was recorded. So that's when they said, okay, we are going to issue this flash flood emergency. So that goes until about 2:30 a.m., the flash flood warning that covers Hillsborough, Manatee, and Pinellas County. But they did put that extra tag on it saying that this is an emergency and you need to make sure you are at higher grounds, which you should be anyway if you did evacuate. Out of most of those zones, A, B, and C was covered under the surge anyway, but if you are a little bit inland and you're close to a body of water that typically floods, I would be aware. So there's that reading, 16 inches of rain at Albert Whitted Airport. And then that's when they went ahead and issued that flash flood emergency. And that, again, covers really the central parts of Hillsborough County, Manatee, and Pinellas County, covering all of those areas. So again, going into the flash flood warning, we have a flash flood warning that covers a number of counties that's not in that emergency technically, but I wouldn't be surprised if we got some expansion on that. So Hillsborough, Pasco, Polk, and Sumter also under that flash flood warning, until 1 a.m. The emergency is for portions of Hillsborough County. Okay, going into some storm reports here, we are starting to see more and more reports pop on the board. A lot of these either have to do with surge or wind, and then, of course, out to the east and down to the south around Fort Myers, southwest Florida, and out to the east coast here, plenty of confirmed tornadoes. We saw that ourselves earlier this afternoon with those big tornadoes that we witnessed through video or photo, and I'm sure we will get a lot more of that tomorrow when the storm passes and everybody starts trying to get their lives back to normal here. But a recap on Hurricane Milton, it did make landfall in Siesta Key around 8:30 this evening. As a Category 3 hurricane, the winds at that time were 120 miles per hour, and the winds did weaken slightly, but we are still getting massive gust reports here, and we are expecting those gusts to travel with Milton as the towns that are closest to those outer bands, that outer wall. That's where the high wind is. That's what we say. Around the eye, that's where the biggest impact is. It's not so much in the center, it's around that eye wall. That's where you get those high winds. That's where you get those bands of wrapping rain where we just have a lot of rain dumped in an area. And it's just lingering on top of us right now here in Hillsborough and Pinellas County. So some high wind reports. Again, I updated this at 9 p.m. We've had reports even stronger than this, 102 in Sarasota. Egmont Channel, 100 mile per hour gusts. Albert Whitted, 90 mile miles per hour. Would not be surprised if they had something higher than that. And we know Sarasota and Bradenton, they had that 102. Currently, we have gusts, and again, some of these readings may be off because some of those sites are being rocked around right now, but we are getting readings in Tampa and St. Pete at 84 mile per hour sustained winds, or excuse me, gusts. That extreme wind warning did expire on time at 9:30, so we are no longer under that. So that's some good news, but I still would be aware of that flash flood threat, flash flood warning. And these winds, again, are nothing to mess with. They just dropped below that criteria of 115 miles per hour, but still, gusts 100 mile per hour winds, that's nothing to mess with. And we will continue to track Milton as the night goes on.
Well, we're keeping an eye on that, and Miguel's keeping an eye on Lakeland right now for us. Miguel, what do you have there?
Well, Dave, I can certainly tell you, we know that Milton has since made landfall here in Florida, but the conditions here in Polk County only continue to deteriorate with those strong winds and heavy bands of rain here as well. I'm going to have our photographer, Bob, just kind of pan over outside of our hotel here. It's a glimpse of how strong the winds are right now. And right now, of course, the county says this is not the time for you to drive around, take up some of the impact, because we're seeing a number of tree branches being flown around here as well. The wind has gotten significantly stronger throughout the last couple hours or so. And as Colleen had mentioned there's also the threat of flash flooding here in Polk County throughout the morning as Hurricane Milton continues to cut across the state and bring some of those damaging winds that could impact some of our homes, and of course bring some flooding in some of those streets. Now at this hotel, we do have a number of people who evacuated from Pinellas and Hillsborough County, some areas more in the coastal areas, and they felt it was safer to get to higher ground here in Lakeland as well. We spoke with one woman who realized that this was a threat to her. She made the last-minute decision to come to the hotel and evacuate, knowing that the wind could significantly damage her home. Take a listen there.
And so we had to run. We had to pack our bags immediately. It was like 6 a.m. in the morning, and we immediately took everything out. We even closed the closet. We took our cabinets and we pushed them in the closet. It was crazy this morning.
Yeah, so a number of people here who took those warnings, those evacuation orders in other areas more seriously. They wanted to make that change last minute to make sure they and their family members were safe. And of course, here in Polk County, we're still continuing to see those conditions deteriorate. That woman we actually heard from there, she's experienced hurricanes before. She was in Puerto Rico during the time of Hurricane Maria. She said she was out of power for about 6 months. And speaking of power, that's a concern here in Polk County. Because of those strong winds, they are anticipating parts of the county to lose power, so that's something that they say you should anticipate. But on top of that, some of those roads are just impassable. Right now, Polk County Sheriff's Office updated some of those roads from the Peace River Bridge, parts of Mulberry, and also here in Lakeland as well. So conditions are just continuing to deteriorate here as the storm continues to cut across the state, bringing with it heavy winds and heavy bands of rain here as well. Dave and Courtney.
All right, I know you're trying hard to keep that
of hotels that are not in an evacuation zone staying open to give people a safe place to go?
Absolutely. Hotels are essential. You know, we're here for people when they need somewhere to go, when they need peace of mind. And it's our pleasure as hoteliers to be able to provide that comfort to our guests. It's personally one of the reasons that I enjoy working in hospitality.
What do you think that you're going to see in Ybor City as the daylight comes up, the winds kind of calm down?
An amazing sense of community. Something that's amazing around here is there's a lot of people that have been here for a long time, generation after generation, and in times like this, through the chaos, you really get to see the sense of community, and I think that you guys are going to see that tomorrow morning when things calm down.
I think that you're right. I think that we're not only going to see that here, but we're going to see that in a lot of different places. Thank you so much for allowing us to stay here. Give us a safe place to be as we continue to report and bring you guys the latest on Hurricane Milton. Obviously, we know that it made landfall, those heavy winds coming.
All right, you've been watching Hurricane Milton coverage from our Tampa Bay affiliate, WTSB. We'll take a quick break for now. Stay with us. You're streaming CBS News 24/7.